Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, shock news yesterday. The Victorian government has pulled out of the 2026 Commonwealth Games. So far, all states and territories have said no to hosting them, putting the Games' future in jeopardy. Premier Chris Minns is here to chat about that, and also he's got some exciting announcements for renters. Premier, good morning.
Here he is.
Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Jonesy.
Chris, so can we take on the Games? That'll really do a bit of an up you to Victoria.
Yeah, I probably need a better reason than that, Jonesy. But look, we've obviously looked at it, and I can understand why people look to Sydney after the 2000 Olympics and the fact that we're hosting the Women's World Cup in mid-August. But we've looked at it closely, and given the size of the debt in New South Wales and the state of our schools and our hospitals, I just can't, in all good conscience, agree to hosting them or taking on the obligations, because I don't want to be in the same situation as Victoria where we make people happy for a day, but in the end we're not able to deliver on what we promise.
But also Dan Andrews did say that they pitched for the Games during the pandemic, and they knew, well, on the tail end of the pandemic, they knew that they probably couldn't afford it. So why did he do it?
Yeah, I guess I can't answer that. There's might have been cost escalations. I just don't know. I haven't had a chance to look closely at it. I mean, from my perspective, it's important that your listeners know that the previous government, the Liberal government, looked at bidding for the right to host the Games a couple of years ago, and in the end made a decision that we couldn't afford it. So for me to reverse that decision, given the state of hospitals and the state of schools and emergency departments and the like, I just can't in good conscience go for it.
Is it embarrassing for Australia that we've pulled out of what does seem like a relative last minute?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, I think when you agree to host these sporting events, you want them to run, and I think that's everybody's intentions, and circumstances change. I know the Tokyo Olympics were delayed a year, weren't they, because of COVID, but this is a different order of magnitude. No, I accept that. I know people desperately want the Games to go ahead, but I've also got an obligation to make sure that when we commit to something that we deliver it, and it's affordable as well. And I've got to say, we've got $180 billion worth of debt in New South Wales, which is the largest figure ever recorded. And I'm not coming on your program blaming people for that. Large measure, that's because of COVID. But by the same case, I can't pretend it doesn't exist either.
Well, you've got some announcements to make that are good news for people, and this is nearly a third of Australians who rent. But for the New South Wales renters, you've got some news.
Yeah, there's 2 million renters in New South Wales, massive number. And I think, Amanda, we've spoken about it before, that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a lot of young people said, will I ever be able to afford to buy a house in Sydney, for example? A lot of people are now saying, can I even afford to rent? And this has huge implications for the economy if young people in particular up and leave Sydney and move to Melbourne or Brisbane or other places around the country. So we need to do something with renters. We need to make sure that the rules are fair. We're strengthening the rules to make it so that you can only increase rents once a year, not multiple times a year. We're appointing a rental commissioner, a portable bond scheme, so you don't have to put your hand in your pocket if you're changing properties from one to the other, to dig deep and find 4 weeks' worth of rent to put it up to the landlord, as well as introducing changes around no-fault evictions. Look, it's just really about making sure that people have got some security and safety and a roof over their head, because that's a fundamental right in Sydney and New South Wales today.
I must say, the demerit point thing, when does that kick in? I'm just asking for a friend who has
friend's me.
Some very, very lean points left.
What's the news for the demerit world?
The roads are open from the Shire early in the morning, I imagine, Jonesy.
Yep. Well, I'm fine. I've actually got 13 points on my licence. I'm such a good driver. The government has said, I'm going to give you an extra point.
I'll rub it in.
But Amanda, on the other hand...
Well, I lost 5 I got a message last week. I must have touched... I'm very careful about not talking on my phone. I must have touched my phone.
Yeah.
5 points gone in one go. So what's the news about demerits?
Yeah, a couple of things. Firstly, if you've been a good driver as of the 17th of January 2024 and for the previous 12 months you haven't incurred any offences, we'll give you 1 point back. And this is all about encouraging good drivers. So for the last 5 decades, it's all been stick and punishing people, obviously, for doing the wrong thing. We accept that, and those rules will still apply. But we also want to encourage drivers, particularly in the Christmas period when unfortunately the road toll's at its worst, to do the right thing, get through the Christmas period without incurring an offence. And if you do that, we'll give you a point back.
Right, so this kicks in January.
And just 1 point back? Just 1 point back.
That's right at this stage, but you'd be happy to know, Amanda, that we've committed to and fulfilled our promise to get rid of hidden speed cameras in New South Wales, to put the signs back. And as a result of that, we've seen in the month of June, this time last year when the signs weren't there and there were hidden speed cameras, there were 55,000 fines. This year, with the signs returned, it was just 6,000. So there's been a major reduction in the number of people being fined. And I'd much rather people not commit the offence in the first place than get a fine in the mail a couple of weeks afterwards, not knowing when and where and how they did it.
Perhaps we should maybe get Amanda a driver.
No, I'm going to be chop it in.
Parker from the Thunderbirds. Yes, my lady.
No, it's looking like that.
Biplane, maybe?
Maybe a biplane. Maybe Amanda gets the Lycra on and starts riding a bike to work.
Absolutely.
This is why the top dog.
I'll head off at midnight and see if I can make my way here in time.
Chris, it's always a treat to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jonesy. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Premier.
Our Premier, Chris Minns.